Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no! Autumn is my favorite time of year. There is no denial ever coming from me about that because the leaves are falling off the trees outside my house and my sidewalk is full of leaves right now. And I haven't raked them yet because it's just a beautiful time of year and I can never seem to get enough of it. And I remember all the PR that Dove Cameron was doing over 15 years ago for Descendants and Liv and Maddie when she'd be promoting her shows. And she talked about how beautiful of a time of year autumn was. And I really concur with Dove Cameron on her belief about how autumn is really beautiful because it allows you to put all your stress and your worry behind you, at least for a brief moment. And you just think about how beautiful this time of year is. And it really puts into perspective how beautiful the friendships have been in Descendants and Zombies. Because I think the friendships are something that's really stood out to me and really stood the test of time. Because they've been there for each other from the very first moment that Descendants and Zombies premiered. They've helped each other make sense of life, helped each other through the most difficult times in life, like the death of Cameron Boyce and everything they've had to deal with personally and professionally, because I think there's a lot of stress that's on the shoulders of people like Kylie Cantrell and Dove Cameron for forever, a lot of stress they don't really admit to, and I think that it's really nice how fans have really received Descendants and Zombies and really had a special place reserved forever and always in their hearts because of how much Descendants and Zombies has meant to each and every one of us. I think that Descendants and Zombies, no matter where I go, no matter what becomes of me, will always hold a special place in my heart because of the memories we shared together. We laughed together, we cried together about our favorite moments from the Descendants and Zombies franchises, from the very first moment Zed and Addison met each other and realized they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together by Zombies 4, Dawn of the Vampires, meeting in the zombie safe zone, how Addison tried to embrace her true identity and true calling as a zombie, eventually a werewolf and an alien by Zombies 3, and she carried on the respect and the lineage of her family throughout every chapter of Zombies, trying to find her place in the world no matter how difficult it was. She knew she had the friendships of people like Zed to help her through and help her make sense of her own life. And I think that that's how a lot of people related to the zombie script, is because they saw themselves in these similar situations that Zed and Addison were caught up within. And that was what was so beautiful about the zombie script. And then you had all these beautiful friendships that were really brought to the forefront by Descendants 4, The Rise of Red, because you had Bridget, of course, with the exemplification of how much further kindness can really touch a person's heart and how much further kindness can take you. Because I really believe that the song Life is Sweeter When You Are had the sole purpose of really illustrating how much of a profound impact kindness can really have on a person's heart. Because kindness can really have a profound impact on a person's heart and really take you further in this lifetime. Now, a lot of people probably don't agree with me on my assumption about kindness, but I think the more kindness that we show somebody, the further we will go in our lifetime. And, sometimes, I give you guys advice, and I think to myself, perhaps I should take my own advice more, because I think that we can all learn from these Descendants characters, because I think we've took something special away from every script Descendants has ever brought forth, every story, and as the story continues to get more in-depth and more detailed and better from chapter to chapter, from the books to the movies, I think that this is an incredible time to be a fan of Descendants and Zombies. If you've never watched it before, you should take yourself up on the opportunity to watch the entire original trilogy and, of course, the spin-off Descendants 4, The Rise of Red. And I have to be honest with each and every one, who just the title for Descendants 5, Wicked Wonderland, I find that to be really intriguing because we've never seen a title like this ever brought forth for an Alice in Wonderland novel or a movie or a TV series. We've seen a lot of adaptations of Alice in Wonderland take shape over the years, but never anything quite like this. So because Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland presents such an intriguing plot, new characters, and new franchises, I think this is going to be a phenomenal time for all Descendants and Zombies fans, and a time that we are never, ever going to forget. Because you see, the thing about time is time always runs out, and it's all about how we spend the time that we are allocated. So because time has forever been elapsing through an invisible hourglass for all of us, we never know how much time we have. So I think Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland will eventually give us and show us the greater appreciation for the value of time and just how precious it is, because it always runs out. And I know we all have a favorite moment that we talk about with our friends or our families that we love to share all the time, and I'm sure you watching this video are thinking about all the fun times you have with your friends and your family over the years, because friends that you have only come into your life once in every lifetime. So because friends in your lifetime only come into your life once every lifetime, you've really got to forever and always cherish it and value it. And I think a lot of people have a greater appreciation for friendship, how precious time actually is, and what you do with the time is what really really matters. And I think that Descendants in some way or some capacity has touched all of our hearts in so many very unique ways because so many people feel differently about Descendants of Zombies. It's only the critics that choose to criticize Descendants of Zombies just to get reactions out of all of us because they know how much Descendants of Zombies mean to each and every one of us solely or collectively because we watch it with our friends or we just watch it by ourselves just to try to help us make sense of a situation we may be going through, a certain time in our lifetime that we can't make sense of. It happens for every one of us because a lot of us will be graduating this year from high school and there's a lot of peer pressure that goes with that, and Lord knows I've been faced with a lot of peer pressure. I remember when I graduated, I had no date at the prom, but it didn't stop me from going to my high school prom and having a good time because the thing is, moments like these only happen once every lifetime. So no matter what you may be going through, I think Descendants and Zombies really helped you make sense of your own life, and I think the believement of one finding true love had never been more apparent or more evident because of what Zombies had illustrated with the relationship between Zed and Addison, which really kick-started everything in motion and really set up for a bright future for the Zombies franchise because by the time Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires happened, we were introduced to two new beautiful characters who looked phenomenal together, and they looked adorable together. They were gorgeous, of course, Victor and Nova. I think this will be a whole new story that will spin off of everything that Zed and Addison did for the franchise. And I think that through drawing inspiration from these two characters, Victor and Nova's story will be that much more exciting to be a part of and that much more compelling, which is something I'm really honored to be here to enjoy with each and every one of you and to profile, because I really do believe that Freya Skye probably has the most spectacular of futures when you talk about a star from the Zombies or Descendants franchises. I really do believe there is so much of a conversation yet to be had about Victor and Nova as characters, and I really believe there is so much for them to offer into this franchise that we've never ever seen before, because we don't know what's inside of this vortex. It could really be anything. Mermaids, pirates, witches, and sirens will forever be presented in conversations. But even with how much mermaids come up in the conversation, there's always a chance to see pirates. There's always a chance to see witches. And I think that has a lot to do with people's greater appreciation for stories having everything to do with vampires and werewolves and trolls and goblins. I studied folk literature for years in high school, so because I studied folk literature for years in high school and I did a lot of English courses, I have a lot of a greater appreciation for fairy tales, so that's why I can talk about Cinderella and Alice in Wonderland for hours, because anybody who studied the story of Alice in Wonderland know there are a total of 4 books in that franchise, and there's even a book that focuses on the greater appreciation for the relationship between Alice in Wonderland and Jabberwockies, which is a very difficult monster name to roll off the back of your tongue. But there's actually a book in that franchise that focuses on the appreciation of Jabberwockies and how much they meant to the Alice in Wonderland story. So if you want to go further in depth with the Wicked Wonderland concept, perhaps Jabberwockies will have a more greater emphasis on them in the forthcoming installment of the Descendants franchise, because I really do believe that a movie in its own right could focus on Red and Chloe and the controversy ascending from Jabberwockies and all these other characters that Alice in Wonderland have introduced us to over the years. Like, just focusing on Maddox Hatter and his relationship with Red is one way of looking at it, but then you have all these other characters such as Alice who have yet to see their introduction into this franchise. Obviously these characters are inspired by the Alice in Wonderland franchise, but we have yet to see them be a part of Descendants 5 Wicked Wonderland. So I think the door has never been more widely left open for characters to reprise their roles, such as Ruby Rose Turner reprising a role as Bridget, and even if you don't bring her back as Bridget, you can have her repackaged as a whole new character, even as the daughter of, say, Alice. I mean, there's so much to do with her, or the daughter of Rapunzel, even if you don't have her play Rapunzel herself for the live-action Tangle, which I would be incredibly supportive of. And I'm actually incredibly excited to see if Disney will follow through with Ruby Rose Turner playing Rapunzel in the live-action Tangle, because of the rarity that's always been associated with the Rapunzel character and how fabulous of a job Mandy Moore did lending her voice to the soundtrack of the Tangled TV series and the Tangled franchise for songs like I Can See the Light and Wind in My Hair. I think that the enthusiasm that Mandy Moore brought to that character was really second to none. It will never be duplicated, but when you talk about a celebrity that actually has expressed desire to want to play Rapunzel, I don't think I've ever seen such passion coming from her heart like I've seen from Ruby. So I think that the conversation has always revolved around the same 3 or 4 celebrities when the discussion comes up about who's going to play Rapunzel in the live-action Tangled a little bit too much. I even think Taylor Swift's name has been included in that conversation. I know Dove Cameron's name has come up, but I think that when you talk about appreciation and heart, there's no greater appreciation and heart shown than what's been shown by Ruby Rose Turner and her desire and her passion to want to play this character and bring her to life. And to be honest with each and every one of you, just the style of Ruby Rose Turner's hair is absolutely gorgeous, and it really fits the Rapunzel character, along with all the character traits like curiosity and unpredictability and these mood swings that we saw Rapunzel have in the original Tangled in 2010. I remember, I'll take you back to 2010 for a moment, at the Capitan Theater when this movie premiered, and it was one of the most successful animated Disney franchises of all time, generating over $350 million in the box office. And I remember how excited everybody was to be a part of it, and I was just so excited to be a part of it being a fan because of how many adaptations we would see Rapunzel used in different franchises like Kingdom Hearts and Disney Infinity over the years. I still have my Rapunzel action figure from my Disney Infinity figure set, and I haven't even taken her out of the box because that's how much Rapunzel means to me. I'll show her to her. I'll show her to you guys on one of the videos I will upload in the very near future, because I have all these Disney Infinity action figures. But that's how much Rapunzel means to me, and I say this because Rapunzel was such an iconic character. So because she was such an iconic character, you would expect an iconic celebrity to play Rapunzel. So I guess that's why people have forever suggested Dove Cameron or Taylor Swift or Sabrina Carpenter, because of how iconic they are and how revered they are with a lot of people. But I think that Rapunzel also presents a chance for a new celebrity to make a name for herself, and what better way for Ruby to make a name for herself than by playing such an iconic character. Now, I know a lot of pressure goes with that, but I also want to put it out there that it will come down to who plays Flint Rider, who plays Eugene in this franchise, with how great of a job Zachary Levi did as Eugene, Flint Rider, in the original Tangled. And there's also been a lot of conversation happening on social media of recency, if you haven't noticed, about Tangled 2 producing an animated sequel. So I think that with how advanced CGI has gotten and how IMAX is really a huge thing for Disney now, with Tron Ares doing great in the box office being in IMAX, I saw that a couple of weeks ago. I think this is an opportunity Disney really needs to maximize and take full advantage of. But then again, the conversation will always turn to, this is one of these live actions that Disney can't afford to make any mistakes with. So because they can't really afford to make any mistakes with it, the question will forever and always be, can Ruby Rose Turner get the job done? It's not that I don't think Ruby can get the job done. I just think there's a lot of criticism thrown the way of Disney's live actions for forever, and with Snow White's recent flop in the box office, I guess that's why Disney reportedly have put Tangled on a cease halt. And now production has reportedly picked up on that again. So I'm looking forward to see if Disney will come through with this and who in fact will play the live-action Rapunzel. But I just want to put it out there. If it is Ruby Rose Turner, I will be front and center coming out in support of Ruby, because I love Ruby so much. And just because, I say this just because of how Ruby really put a stronger emphasis on just how much kindness can really impact a person's life and how much they can change a person's perception by showing them a little bit of extra kindness. Because every single time that you open your eyes every day, there is somebody waiting for you to show them just a little bit of extra kindness in their life. You may not expect it or may not see it right away, but when you finally realize how much of an impact kindness can have on a person's life just by simply saying hi to them, you never realize it until it comes full circle and comes into perspective for you, and the greater picture is painted for us all. Because I think that everybody's just waiting on a little bit of extra kindness in their own life. I say this because I speak from personal experience. When I was in high school, I was a real geek. I was one of those Peter Parker kind of guys, Spider-Man-like, having to chase after the bus every morning because I was always slow getting my books together, and an assignment I would always have to put in a do-a-tang folder or print it off 5 minutes before the bus would arrive to pick me up in my driveway. And I always remember having to chase after the bus with my book bag on my back, and I'd have to jump on the back of the bus like Spider-Man. There was one morning I literally had to jump on the back of the bus like Spider-Man until somebody actually told the bus driver to stop the bus. It was a girl that really had a soft place in her heart, obviously, for me. Every single morning she would tell the bus driver to stop the bus. But I remember having to chase after the bus every single morning. And when somebody would just say hi to me, even if it was that girl that told the bus driver to stop the bus so I could get on the bus and sit down on a seat by myself, no matter who it was, no matter if they would just simply say hi to me, a simple hi would change my day and really lift my spirits up. I would probably be feeling the worst. and then somebody would just say hi to me, and it would make me feel a whole lot better. So the thing is, when everything comes full circle and the greater picture is painted, you never really know how much a profound impact kindness can have on a person's heart. And I really was like Peter Parker. I was the everyday Spider-Man chasing after the bus every morning, and I always appreciated somebody that would always, help out a little bit when you least expected it and show that little bit of extra kindness. So the thing is, I think Descendants of Zombies has done a really great job putting a stronger emphasis on this kind of thing, and also allowing them to showcase their passions for a love for board games and video games, which I have a really strong appreciation for. As you see there in the back, I collect video games all the time. When I'm not uploading videos about Descendants of Zombies, I can be seen at EB Games buying the latest game or some type of video game merchandise. I always collect video games. So when I hear people like Freya Sky and Kylie Control talking about their passion for board games and video games, I have a greater appreciation for that kind of thing, because I think that, if you showcase your passion, like let's say, for example, you draw, because some of the most beautiful drawings have been drawn by girls in this lifetime. I think girls are never shown enough appreciation for their talents. So I think that when a girl can draw a beautiful drawing, or a girl can, play a guitar or some instrument, I think that's a beautiful talent. So when I see people like Dove Cameron having a passion for playing the guitar or singing, it's great. And I think Descendants of Zombies has presented us with a wonderful opportunity to really showcase, what Kylie Control's true worth is and true value to this lifetime is. Because for me, a net worth is just a number. A net worth doesn't really tell me about, how much a person feels inspired by the music they write, or how they perform as an actress, or their ability to really bring things to life. A net worth is just a number and a statistic, and to me, it really doesn't tell me a whole lot about a person. So, it never really mattered to me, how much Kylie Control may have been worth net worth wise, like how Taylor Swift's net worth is $1.5 billion in revenue. Of course, nobody can stand up to that. But the thing is, I really believe that a passion that Kylie Control has outshines Taylor Swift every single time. A desire that Ruby Rose Turner showcases outshines somebody like Sabrina Carpenter second to none. So I think that your favorite Descendants of Zombie stars deserve all the respect in the world, and I just wanted to be that guy to show it to them and just to let them know that everything was going to be okay in a world that sometimes, more times than often enough, seems very dark. And because it seems to be very dark, that doesn't mean that we have to, continue to show darkness to everybody when we can outshine any amount of darkness that we may encounter with that little bit of extra kindness, or just by simply saying hi to somebody every single day. Because you never know how much of an impact or how much of a difference you can make on somebody's life. And I will elaborate on that coming up on my third podcast sometime today and between now and sunset, because I really do believe that there are far more kinder people in this lifetime, sometimes in disguise. And I think that everybody who watches these videos definitely can learn from Descendants of Zombies and really feel inspired. I think everybody wanted something to feel inspired by and to draw inspiration from. And I really do believe that Descendants of Zombies somewhere, somehow, allowed us the opportunity to do that in so many emphatic ways and so many unforgettable ways. Because I don't know about you guys, but I will never forget the friendships between Kylie Control and Malia Baker, and Kylie Control and Ruby Rose Turner ever since the age of 9 years old, when they would watch High School Musical and Descendants together and just dream of being a part of it. And whoever thought that after such a long time, everything would come full circle for them. I really do believe that Kylie Control and Freya Sky's time with this franchise is just beginning, and I think that we have so many wonderful things to discuss and yet to review, and that's why I feel so honored to be in your guys' presence every single time I have the opportunity to record a video about my thoughts about Descendants of Zombies, because I think that if we're going to talk about Descendants of Zombies, then we should talk about Descendants of Zombies, and we should offer you, opinions on a franchise that are actually worth showcasing, that are worth talking about. I know I'm a guy with a Dumbo and a Stitch in the background and a Sonic the Hedgehog, but the thing is, I think that stuff is cool. And I think because you only have one life to live, you should showcase it and put it on display for everybody, because that really shows that you have heart. And that really shows that you're into what you're talking about. Because if I wasn't into what I was talking about, then I wouldn't be talking about it, and there'd be no point of me ever uploading a video about Descendants of Zombies. But you guys have shown me incentive. You guys have given me purpose. And thank you guys so much. I can't go on without saying thank you guys so much for having bring me back and really giving me a second chance to be heard in this whole new generation of Disney fans, which is very different from the generation that I grew up in, because I grew up in traditional animation, Aladdin, The Lion King, Bonkers, Goof Troop, Hercules, Gargoyles. I remember them all, Darkwing Duck, The House of Mouse. I can go on for forever. And that's because I have a greater appreciation for each and every one of you for being Descendants of Zombies fans, and because I know how much these franchises have forever and always meant to each and every one of your hearts, it gives me great honor and prestige to talk about your favorite franchises the way they were forever and always meant to be talked about. So guys, from my heart to yours, thank you so much. I know a lot of people post videos to criticize your favorite stars. I've kind of shied away from that, and I've tried to present Descendants of Zombies for what its true worth and its true value has forever and always been, and that's forever and always holding a special place in each and every one of your hearts. So guys, from my heart to yours, seriously, thank you guys so much. If you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, you are probably going to want to do that, because when you subscribe to this YouTube channel, you will have a greater appreciation for all things Descendants of Zombies, because I know that you are a great person, and I know and I trust that you're going to hit my subscribe button because you love Red and Chloe so much, you love Bridget so much, whoever your favorite Descendants character is, whatever reason you have for being a fan of Descendants of Zombies, I'm cool with that, and you're all right by me, and I would love to have you subscribed on this incredible journey that feels like I've been on for forever because of each and every one of you guys. Seriously, thank you so very much. Guys, don't forget to hit my like, subscribe buttons, and to share this video, and to get in on my conversation. I have a lot to say where Descendants of Zombies goes. I will get to all that later on this afternoon, which I hope you will join me for. I'm cordially inviting you to be a part of this YouTube channel because life is that much sweeter when all of us are. Thank you guys so very much.